Okay, hello again, dear students. So we will go on with the workbook exercises and the reading part. So page 128. So now let's listen. We have actually a kind of chart here, but I want you to think and feel in this chart with your own ideas, okay? So write 3 things you can move in your classroom or you can at your home, it doesn't matter. What kind of force do you use to move them? I will just give an example. For example, things you move. What can it be? Just think about it. For example, your chair, right? Your chair. So how you move them? Sometimes you push your chair and sometimes you pull, right? You can just write one. So let's just write push. And for example, you can just say table or your desk, okay? And sometimes you push or you actually pull, right? So you can just write pull. And just write the other thing yourself, okay? Just think about one thing and just write. And don't forget to share with your teacher. And the other question, write one thing you move every day in your bedroom, okay? So what do you move every day in your bedroom? Just think about it. Okay. For example, you can just actually say what. Yes, of course, your actually chair again. You can write because you have to change your clothes and you sit on it, so you can move your chair every day. For example, okay. And let's just go on with the target vocabulary part. So the first thing we will do is actually to circle the odd one out, okay? There are 3 different words and one of them is different from the others. So look at number 1. We have push, pull and rescue. So the answer is rescue here, okay? So look at number 2. Speed, feelings, movements. So what's the different one here? We have speed, movements, feelings. Of course, the feeling is actually different here, right? And number 3, push, throw, weight. Push is something you do, throw is something you do, but the weight is different. It's again something you do, but weight is different from these ones. I'm sorry, I will clean the board. So we said feeling is different, we said weight is different, and the last one, we have light, high, heavy. So what's actually what was the different one here? We have known what is light, we have known what is heavy, but we don't know what is high. We know, but the meaning is different here, okay? We cannot use with these words. Just circle it, okay? So these are the answers. So now we will look at the pictures and write the words. So the first one has already done. It is push, right? She is pushing her son. And number 2, she's sliding. So, is it ground or movement? Of course, it's movement, right? It is movement. And the last one is actually what? Ground. Yes, good. All right. So if you finish, I will move on with the next page. Don't forget to write. Don't forget to remember each word because they're important. And we will see these target words in both of these units. I mean Unit 15 and Unit 16. So now let's just go on. Okay. So page 129. So circle the correct words. When I push something, I'm behind it. When I push something, of course I'm behind it, right? So the book is on the shelf. There is movement or there isn't movement? What's the answer here? The book is on the shelf. I see that the book is on the shelf. Is there a movement here? Of course, there isn't a movement, right? There isn't a movement. Speed is how fast things move or pull. Of course, move, right? And it's easy to pull a light or heavy thing. Of course, it's easy to pull a light thing, right? If it is light, you can just pull easily. And number 5, I throw a ball, my friend doesn't catch it, it falls to the sunlight or ground. For example, I throw a ball to you and you cannot catch it. So what happens? It falls to the sunlight or ground. Of course, ground, right? And the last one, I can push and pull or weight a chair. I can push and pull a chair or weight a chair. Of course, I can push and pull a chair, as I said in the previous video, right? So, and we are part D. We will just write these words to the correct places. So we have easy, we have push, we have pushes, we have movements, heavy, ground, light. The first one has already done again. So Johnny and Joey put a lot of snow on their wagon. Joey pulls the wagon and Johnny, the opposite meaning of this word, of course, pushes, right? Pushes. Because I put es here, I mean to the verb, because Johnny is a singular person, he, right? So we are putting e and s to these verbs. But it doesn't move. There isn't any. What happens if they both pull or push and the wagon cannot move? What happens? Can we say there isn't any movement? Of course, there isn't any movement, right? There isn't any movement. Okay. The wagon is too heavy, of course, because they cannot move the wagon. It's heavy. And Joey and Johnny have an idea. They thought something, and they blah blah a lot of snow off the wagon. So what's the answer here? They blah blah a lot of snow off the wagon. Of course, they push a lot of snow off the wagon. So the snow falls to the ground. And we have ground and we push. The wagon is light now. And so it's easy to pull. Easy to pull. So I will read one more time and follow me. Johnny and Joey put a lot of snow on their wagon. Joey pulls the wagon and Johnny pushes. But it doesn't move. There isn't any movement. The wagon is too heavy. And Joey and Johnny have an idea. They thought something. They push a lot of snow off the wagon. They push, right? And the snow falls to the ground. The wagon is light now. So it's easy to pull. The boys are happy, as you see, okay? They are pushing a lot of snow off the wagon. Okay? So now I will just move on with the next page. We will have a kind of story here. So I will read. Please follow me. And if you have any unknown words, please underline and check their answers. So, part A. Read the text quickly, answer the question. At the end of the class, what does Jimmy know a lot about? So we will just learn. Move this. The topic is this. So Jimmy and his class are learning about forces. Miss Jenkins has 2 boxes. One is small and has clothes in it. The other is big and has books in it. Miss Jenkins calls Jimmy to the front. Push the small box, Jimmy, says Miss Jenkins. Jimmy pushes the box. It's easy to push, he says. Now push the big box, Jimmy says, Miss Jenkins. And Jimmy pushes the box and says, it's hard to push. Yes, you are right, Jimmy. The small box is lighter than the big box. We need a small force to move light things and a big force to move heavy things. If something is light, you actually, as this the teacher says, we need a small force to move it. And if this thing is heavy, we need a big force to move it. And the last part, now Jimmy push the heavy box with a small force. The box is heavy, but you have to use small force. Good. Now push it with a big force. Which force makes the box move faster? The small force or the big force? The big force makes the box go further too. It's something like that. For example, there is a heavy thing in front of you and just try it. Just try to use a small force just now, just small, and you will see this thing is moving slowly. And try to use a big force, okay, and you will see these things will move faster, okay. This is what we call speed, okay. And so now, at the end of the class, what does Jimmy know a lot of about? Of course, he knows lots of forces, okay, lots of forces. You can write this answer, and the answer is this, of course. So now I will move on with the question. So we have part A. What part of the text do you like? Just read the text one more time, quietly or loudly, it doesn't matter, and tick the boxes. I mean, which part do you like most? So Jimmy, Miss Jenkins, pushing the boxes. So I will just go for pushing the boxes, and this is my idea, so you can just do your own answers. You can say your own answer, it doesn't matter. And complete the chart. So the answer, we have cause and effect. So it says a light thing, blah blah, needs blah blah to move it. So what do you need to move light thing? So of course, a light thing needs a small force to move it, right? And a blah blah thing needs a big force to move it. Of course, a heavy thing, right? It's a heavy thing needs a big force to make it. And the last one, a blah blah force makes the box go fast and far. So what's the answer here? Speed, right? A speed force makes the box go fast and far, okay? And circle the true or false. Jimmy is in English class. No, she is not in English class. Number 2, Miss Jenkins is teaching the class about forces. Yes, it's true. The big box is easy to push. Of course, it's false, right? It depends how actually you use it. A small force or big force. And read and answer the question. Jimmy pushes a light and heavy box. Which box needs a bigger force to move it? A small one, or the light one, or the heavy one? Which box needs a bigger force? Of course, the heavy box, right? Heavy box. And which box is easier to push? Of course, a light box. Okay? You can write these answers. And this is the end of the workbook, target vocabulary and the reading part.